Okay. In most of them are like, okay, I understand I can't use contraception. Most of these couples are not asking for contraception. They're just asking someone explain why we can't do other things to minimize the pain of this.
And rekindle our marriage.
Yeah. I just don't think the Catholic answers.
The old man with the cane kind of reinvigorated me because, like, you know, I mean, if there's so much suffering that goes on because of that, then people just deal with it their own way. I don't know.
I hope for her sake and the Catholic Answers people's sake that they are right about this, because, my God, they are causing so much suffering by people trying to follow this. And oftentimes, I would say, not both spouses are successfully following this.
That's right.
There's other things happening.
And then that's putting a divide in the marriage.
Yeah, so I just...
Which could be prevented easily.
Right. But because these are the responses that you get, people just keep their mouths shut.
It's difficult to be the old man in the crowd.
Welcome back, everyone. Craig and Jonah here today. How are you today, Jonah?
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, well rested.
Gosh.
Doing great.
Man, I just keep waiting for the bottom to fall out of this, and the guy just keeps...
Nope, hasn't fallen out, but, you know, we've been busy, so it's kind of slowed down. It's not as...
Okay.
You know, our household is slowing down a little bit as far as, like, the...
I'm sorry.
We're just busy.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's not slowing down, like... anywhere near what happened before, but, you know, it's just we're busy, you know, we get tired.
Well, I continue to go through the torture of NFP and get to about, in this last time, because of work, we missed our one window on the front end. So it had been a long time. And, you know, you get to about that 2-week mark, and you just start questioning why you even bother keep breathing. You just, you know, there's just so many other options that seem more appealing than enduring that. And you start entertaining thoughts of just, let's just be celibate. This has got to be easier.
But it's not.
It's not. But I had this, I don't know. Again, I go through this same mind game every single cycle where I just hate all of it. And then when the gates open up again, you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. So I don't know. It's such a freaking whiplash. And I know it's happening every month. Yeah. And I go through it and I just, man, it's like being dunked in cold water and then brought out and then I'm still convinced that total abstinence or long-term abstinence is worse, but man, anyone that really likes NFP, especially if you're a guy, I have questions for you. I think my wife actually likes it a lot. And I've always been trying to figure out how the heck do I get to where I can be more okay with her timetable. And I am I think I've grown a lot in terms of not taking it out on her, but like not being just a grumpy old ass all the time. But inside, I'm just dying inside.
It's funny how tough it is, you know, and it is the one thing that kind of makes the world go round. And I don't know, there's no other substitute. Well,
this last weekend, so we were. The end was in sight. I knew peak was behind, and we kind of cut the corners a little bit with a Marquette, and she got scared because we had a cycle was a little long, so she's like, none of that anymore, even though it was fine. So, but I was trying to think, like, how do I? One of the thoughts that ran through my mind, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but in just kind of expressing reality, is that I wonder if my search for, like, in my marriage, I have an awesome companion. I have an awesome mother to my children. She's great and all of that. And during the sort of go periods, it's pretty good. But I think I've always been searching for that lover, you know, that having that person that's also your lover.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's even possible. Like this kind of goes back to the question of the difference between before you're married, before you have kids, and after you have kids. But I don't think she has the capacity to be a lover. In addition, no, and again,
how do you think she'd feel about that?
I don't think she would disagree with that. I mean, and again, it's not really a dig on her. It's just an observation that, because that's something that especially with my love languages being words of affirmation and physical touch, that is just something that is really, really hard for her based on her makeup and just the busyness of household and all that, it's something that for her, like when we're in the abstinence period, she can just kind of shut that down. It doesn't really think about that at all, Mm-hmm. And I'm not that way. I don't.
Yep.
Biologically, this doesn't happen.
Doesn't line up,
right? It'd be really handy if it did, because if it did, if I could turn my biology off and be like, okay, just be really good co-parents and co-companions in life until you can go back, it would make a lot of things better. But
that's actually one of the things that I wrote to Dolores in a note sometime this summer was how it was great to have her as a lover again. And, it happened for us.
Yeah. And
I mean, like you said, I don't know if, like you said, can it be maintained, over time?
Yeah.
And for us right now, we have all kinds of sports practices and you're out all night,
right,
like at games. And so
right,
that does put a crimp at things sometimes, but I'd say that we're still, there was a time when we were in our long abstinence period that was ongoing for a lot of different reasons, where it was just brutal, and I don't know, I felt like there was no lover nor friend at home sometimes, and but now we have all that.
I think a lot of times, I think you and Pilot are in rare company there, in that you kind of have all of it. But I think what happens a lot of times, and this is something I struggle with, is when you don't feel like you have this lover that you once had or thought you would have. Oftentimes, that carries over into the friendship side of things, or
totally,
parenting, right? And so now you don't have any of that, right? And I was just reflecting on the fact that, like, I was like, okay, I need to stop thinking about so much about the fact that I don't have. It doesn't feel like I have that lover that I would want. But I am so blessed to have so many other things in our marriage. And I was trying to really just think about that and focus on that and try to orient myself from rather than dwelling on what I feel like I'm missing. And I think there are needs in my life that I'm missing because of NFP. And that's so that's okay. But I really try to focus on, what does our marriage need? What does she need? Mm-hmm. And that helped me a little bit. Now it's still a struggle, it's still a slog, but and part of me still hopes that maybe there's an opportunity for that lover component,
I'm sure,
to be rekindled. And we've had moments of that, but it's been really hard to have that on any kind of long-term basis, because we've just been so busy having kids, being pregnant, postpartum, nursing, and all that. I got to start. I mean, your mind starts doing some crazy things during the abstinence period. I'm thinking,
it does.
Maybe John is right. Maybe Nolan Proof is right that it's not supposed to be about love. It's supposed to be, and I don't believe that. But there are times I think, is there some hidden genius there? Because I think for most people, it is really, really hard to consistently maintain that this is my best friend, we're great parents together, and we're lovers all at the same time. Like, I think for a lot of us, it's...
And there's something about the intimacy that fuels emotional intimacy, which fuels your friendship, that is undeniable. And I'm not, even for myself, I just didn't feel capable of being as good of a friend without that component as well. And I can't explain that as far as the things you talk about, the gentleness in the house, or how you accept each other's faults or failings. And I don't know, it's something that I can't totally understand, but I don't know, it's There's just something about physical intimacy which fuels emotional intimacy and communication.
That's why. And that's
it deepens friendship. I don't know.
Right, and that's why I'm really averse to these. And we're actually going to talk about this a little bit. We're going to play some episodes of someone else, but this idea that sexual intimacy is more or less optional, and long-term abstinence can be good for marriage or can be growth, and or it's and I just think that's not right. I think it is that one easy ingredient that God gave us to kind of bring energy and whatever back into the marriage when maybe it's really hard being parents, or it's really hard being friends, but there's something about that act, that experience, that it kind of erases a lot of that,
it's totally
forgives
a
a lot of things,
response that changes your life.
Yeah, and that's why
the way you view things.
I see that as design, as gifted design, not this thing we constantly got to be worried about, which I feel like for a lot of Catholics is the attitude. It's this, oh my gosh, it's this horrible effect of concupiscence and all that, and it's just this raging enemy in your marriage that you have to constantly keep right. And yes, you have to have self-control or whatever, but I just think I can't help but think that God is up there kind of face palming and be like, guys, I gave this to you for a reason, because I understood how hard life can be, and I wanted to make it very easy for you to reconnect with each other and get back in sync with each other. And nothing does it the way that this does, right?
That's right.
So that's a great segue to a couple of videos. So I wanted to play a short video that someone had put in our Discord, and then it relates to one of Alan's latest podcasts. I won't be able to put the video on the screen, but I'll have the audio, and if I remember, I'll put a link to it in the description. I can't do it with our new recording software, so it's a short one, but and just for context, this is a Catholic Answers. This was like some kind of a live Catholic Answers thing. It's in a building or something, and people could get up and ask questions. And the one guy I recognize from their videos, the other guy I don't know, but so they're answering questions. And so there's this.
It's too bad you weren't there.
Yeah. I would have had some things to say. They would have had to cut that and drag me out of there. So here we go.
Let's now we have Dan. Is that correct? All right.
That's correct.
Dan,
yes,
let me give
I'm Dan.
Okay, Dan.
And for those that can't see the video, Dan, it looks to be like probably in his 70s, maybe a little older.
He's lived life.
He's got a cane. Maybe it's Pilot. I don't know.
Hang on. Let me give a little warning that there's an adult question coming. So,
all right.
I want to ask you about the morality of sexual contact with a spouse where one or the other is incapable, and especially think about people that are crippled or the loss of an organ through some kind of accident.
Got a laugh out of that one, but I'm not sure what he's laughing about.
That really disturbed me.
I think it's because he's uncomfortable, and that is his coping mechanism.
The first thing when I saw the video, I'm like, did that guy just laugh? Did I miss something there?
No, I think he's uncomfortable. He's like, oh man, how am I going to answer this?
Well, they knew it was coming, so they must. I don't know, but maybe
they didn't see that coming.
And you should watch the video because the guy, I don't know, it's the main guy from Catholic Answers, and I was like, "F you," for laughing at this.
Yeah. I think he was just uncomfortable, and that was his way of coping. Right. But the guy is obviously a seasoned veteran of marriage. I'll say that he's been through a lot, and this is still on his mind apparently. Like if it affects this guy still.
My
your
theory,
old man said, no, listen, you just got to get some sleep or something.
Pilot keeps telling me I'm full of it, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm banking on it. So.
Your question is, if they can't perform the actual marital act, are there other sexual acts they can perform?
And this is a different co-host. This is not the guy that laughed. He must be a guest or something. But
Ed?
Yes.
Yeah, the answer to that is no. There are things you can do in preparation. You can have, in other words, foreplay. But if it's impossible to perform the act itself, there can be no foreplay for the act. You can't engage in
How do you know till you try? Like, I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how do you know till you try? You're hoping this time it's going to work. You know?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's right.
Like, I mean, seriously.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. If there is.
Because, I mean, once you start, you just got to keep going. And maybe that's what pilots got going on. Just keep going.
That's a really good point. Like, how do you know, like, how many failed takeoffs do you have to have before you're now it's immoral for you to try?
Yeah.
The Catholics are the only ones that have to worry about this stuff.
It's kind of like the old saying at the urinal, you know, like if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. You know, like, I mean, how many times, you know, how much touching can go on before it's illicit? You know, I don't know.
That's right.
Play with no orientation towards the sexual act.
It was pointed out to me that there are 2 purposes.
Who is that other guy with the suit on?
Yeah, he's like got a costume on or
Yeah,
something like that.
What,
I don't know.
is that a priest or is that?
No, I don't think so.
He looks like a matador or something like that. I mean, that's like he just got out of the arena fighting bulls in Spain.
Right. He looks like the lawyer on My Cousin Vinny when he comes out.
That's so true.
Comes in with his tuxedo
he had to
or
get a
whatever.
tuxedo from a rental place, right? Or something like what was it? Or was it from a Goodwill or like a secondhand store? Or
Yes.
something? Yeah, it was something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we gotta trust the conquistador on this stuff. Let's see here.
That's right.
One, of course, is to procreate.
Mm-hmm.
The other is to reaffirm the union that joins the 2 together.
Right, the 2 become
And without that joining, we have a disintegration.
one. There are other ways of building that up because you're right. There is a
This guy
the
is.
old man. He's pushing that.
This
People
is
should see
personal.
the video because this is really impressive. Because if that old man is this disturbed by it,
Yeah.
he's gone through a lot.
Yeah. Definitely check out the video because
We should get that guy in here.
that'd be nice.
I don't know how to
Track him
reach out to
down.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're out there, find us. unchartedcatholicman@gmail.com. Please email us.
We'll even talk to the conquistador. It is just like My Cousin Vinny. That is such a funny.
That was my first impression of this guy. I was like,
It's like, who is this guy?
Right. So I was just like, you know, and
The guy's right.
yeah, this old guy is right, and they fall back on this. I don't know. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful to church teaching to the extent that it's consistent with this stuff, but there's just this weird, sterile. We call it the act, the marital act. Like it's like this separate entity that has its own creation of being independent of the couple themselves. And it almost feels like another coping mechanism because if we can separate it from the people, we can sort of talk about it in abstract terms, independent of how it affects the individuals themselves. Like, but what's the point? What is the point of the marital act, independent of what it does and what it means for this couple and their family? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. That just seems such a weird. I don't know. Abstracted from reality to be talking about this act. We don't talk about other acts that way, right?
Massage.
Right. The massage, like right. And so it's certainly not certainly not in moral terms. Like that's the thing. Like this act gets its own bag of moral rights and moral boundaries that nothing else really does.
So you can kiss as much as you want. You can even passionately kiss. You just can't touch the naughty bits. You know, like that's what they're saying.
Right.
I mean,
well, you can't get to the point where either one of you has enough pleasure to orgasm. I think that's where most people draw the line. Mm-hmm. Which, I don't know. Again,
it's an odd definition, I think. I mean, within marriage, it's one thing if you're talking outside of marriage, but within marriage,
we're going to get to that too.
Okay, all
so
right.
let's finish this off, and then we'll switch over to
aspect to sex as an act itself. The 2 become one, but the 2 don't become one in just any kind of sexual contact. Like which
which I think is funny because then it's like, okay,
well, that's fine too.
we don't. okay, so this isn't the marital act. So these other acts are not the marital act. Mm-hmm. So why would the rules for the marital act apply to these?
Those,
right?
when you're married.
Right?
Because you'd think you could touch your wife however you want, really, within marriage.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. In
as long as she's happy with it,
right? And then that kind of brings it into the whole masturbation debate. Does it qualify as that? But it's just interesting how they flip back and forth on the marital act thing, but then use the principles we have for the quote unquote marital act to condemn things that by their own definitions don't rise to the level of marital act. And so there's just this weird, it seems like the goalposts are always moving on this stuff.
We're not becoming one in an act like masturbation.
There's this word called masturbation that has a terrible ring about it. But when they're spousal and all they can do is touch one another,
In an act
what
like
is the
masturbation.
moral yardstick?
And
Boy, this guy could be us.
Yeah, I want Jonah 2.0 to recognize that we did not invent other acts.
This old man did. He was going long before we were ever born.
Exactly.
Holy
Will
cow!
bring us to the break, actually. Thank you very much
We
for
gotta
the
take a-
question.
Yeah. The conquistador says it's time to get out of here. The bull's charging.
Someone pull a fire alarm.
Man!
Isn't that interesting?
Did you find that in your YouTube stream?
No, someone had posted it in our Discord community a while ago, and I hadn't noticed it, and there were some comments on it. I was like, oh, I'm going to go listen to that. And like I said, my first comment was like, did that guy just laugh? So, yeah. So thank you to one of our Discord people that had posted that.
And if anybody knows why he's wearing that suit, I would love to know. Because
It is pretty weird.
Like,
It
it's
is
just
weird.
bizarre that he's
Yeah.
answering questions
Yeah,
dressed
he-
in a suit like that.
Yeah, he looks like he's the what do you say, MC in a circus or whatever. He's like
The greatest showman
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. Yeah, P.T. Barnum. Okay, so I think
I mean, we don't really need to
this
say
is
much
a
more.
universal problem.
Man, that old man with the cane,
Yes,
he made a lot of solid points there.
you're telling me. I mean, that guy is. So
He's lived it.
yep. So let's.
I'm not sure what angle he was getting at. I would love to talk to that guy about his marriage and history and where he's coming from.
Yeah, I want to ask about a friend. I mean, maybe not, but I'm guessing there's that.
Because I wonder if he can't do it or his wife can't do it or what. But
Correct. Yeah.
how maybe the both. I don't know, but they still want.
Seems
that
like
level of
age
touch.
more affects the guy than the gal, but I don't
They
know.
got pills and everything for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
but yeah,
I'm not sure.
So anyway, that's the
Maybe
Catholic.
a pilot would have some speculation there. What's going on? I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe he's one of his coffee buddies or something.
Yeah,
like
could
that.
be.
Yeah, get us in touch with him. Okay, now, so Ellen had a podcast episode, and a number of people in our Discord community.
Do you listen to her every week?
No, I kind of look at it. It depends how long it is and the subject. And this one was only like 15 minutes, and I was like, and it was on when abstinence is long term. I'm like, I'm interested. I mean, I'm curious, not necessarily interested in what she has to say about it, right? So let's see what Ellen has to say about this topic.
What do you do when sex is completely off the table and there's no end in sight? In this episode, we are going to confront the pain and isolation of long-term abstinence, whether it's due to a high-risk pregnancy, illness, painful sex, anything along those lines. And we're going to talk about how long-term abstinence can actually be a path to deeper connection.
Oh, yeah. Just like lack of communication is a path to deeper connection. It's the same thing.
It's just there was a lot of people that were psychoanalyzing what she was saying here, and we'll get to it. She's actually in one of these periods right now. So,
Does she talk about why?
well, kind of. She says it's not because she's pregnant, but it's some other reason. So,
Okay.
so anyway, but I'm going to jump around. It's not a super long episode, but I do want to. I want to hit a few of the highlights, and if I remember again, I'll link to her episode below. So, let's see here. Okay.
That is short term.
Oh, She was saying
wanna
that
talk about
the NFP that
long-term abstinence when
the abstinence you do with NFP for 2 weeks, she says is short term, which I don't know. It doesn't always feel like short term, but I get what she's saying.
Long term to a
She's-
guy.
Yeah, she's.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. I think anything over 5 days is long
there
term.
aren't many guys that are fine with 2 weeks.
I am so interested to hear what her husband has to say about all this stuff. And that is my.
He keeps his mouth shut because he knows it's good for him.
Well, I was saying in the Discord community, imagine if he was, and again, imagine if he had the same kinds of questions the rest of us had, and asked, and let's say he mentioned his wife struggles with certain sins, right? Mm-hmm. I very much doubt that he's going to do that.
She's going to be like Gallagher with that sledgehammer and a watermelon, you know,
That's right.
verbally.
I would.
That's the response.
I would think so.
I would say.
Again, okay.
I want to talk about long-term abstinence when, let's say, you have a high-risk pregnancy and you need to abstain for the rest of the pregnancy. Maybe you have a medical diagnosis that requires that you abstain from all sex.
Even
Maybe
like during pregnancy, I mean, that's 9 months. You can see your way through that. That's, I think, not as big of an issue as like the rest of your life.
Yeah. Although you still got how many months of postpartum abstinence after that? So
Still, you can see the
Okay.
horizon there.
Sure.
I mean, you know,
Right.
you can make it through that
Yeah.
mentally, I think.
I don't know. I thank God we never had to do that. Mm-hmm. But so
I'm just saying your marriage
When
can
he was-
survive that, but long-term abstinence forever is probably not going to be good.
what
for
do you
anybody's
consider
marriage.
long term?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, you know, the rest. If you can't get pregnant, if you can't risk getting pregnant,
Okay.
you know, till menopause. Like, I mean,
Well, she
that's-
talks about that too. So
Okay, I mean, because you can at least there's a definitive endpoint. It's not like
yeah, and she does talk about the fact that what do you do when there is no, you have no idea when this is going to end. That must be what they're going through right now. Which that would be
that would be terrible.
that would be pretty disturbing.
I have a guess as to how it's going for him.
You can certainly
I
speculate.
can speculate. I think fairly accurately.
injured and it makes sex uncomfortable or impossible. Or maybe you're experiencing painful sex and you're working through painful sex right now, and so sex is off the table until you find some healing and find some relief.
And she goes on and she talks about, I'm not going to cover this whole thing. She's like, she sees a lot of Facebook groups how people will say that God wouldn't want us to go through this, wouldn't want us to be deprived of each other for so long, and all this and that. And so here's what she thinks about that.
And here's the thing, that is utter crap. I'm just going to say it as it is. That right there is utter falsehood. Suffering is a part of the human condition. We are fallen humans and we will suffer. We will. And your suffering, yes, might in fact involve long-term abstinence from sex. And this is coming from a personal spot right now because I'm in one of those situations.
This is always the go-to punch for the, I don't know, NFP apologist, not even the NFP apologist, any anti-contraception, anti-other acts apologist, right? Well, suffering is part of marriage. Suffering is part of life. Well, yes, but I have a few things to say about that. Number one, sometimes suffering is avoidable and should be avoided. So, right?
Yes, for the sake of your family and kids.
Exactly. If you have a nasty toothache, you not only you should go to get that taken care of and get it pulled out so that you are not suffering from that anymore and you can be more present for your family.
But if you had a virtuous spouse, they could say that, you know, they are doing it, they're offering it up for everybody around them. Or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but they're incapacitated, you know,
Right.
to a certain degree.
Right.
Is that right or wrong?
Right. And I have no problem with people voluntarily embracing suffering when it comes. But this isn't just
Especially
a
if
matter
they're
of
single and they don't affect anybody else.
Exactly. But it's not just, this is not just a question about embracing suffering. This is a question about whether you can do other things to minimize that suffering, and if you do, you're going to hell. I can't think of any other opportunities for suffering that the consequence of not accepting the suffering is eternity in hell, like some grave sin. Like, that is the issue here, because I think accepting suffering can and should be viewed as a extra example of virtue, of an opportunity for grace. And if you don't, let's say, embrace that suffering adequately, maybe you're losing out on the gifts, the graces that go with that as a virtue. But I think it's a whole nother thing to say that, well, now we're going to, you're going to be not only sinful, gravely sinful, if you do anything to try to, like I said, avoid or minimize that. Mm-hmm. That is the issue. No other situation. That's the part they don't talk about.
I can't think of any.
No. And so that, I think that is where I don't think it's a fair comparison to say, well, because life involves suffering, that this is just another example. This is different. The moral stakes, according to them, are much, much higher.
And it's something that affects your marriage.
And yes, and not just your kids, like, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is a I would say sort of a sensitive ecosystem, if you will, that is easily thrown off when one or both spouses are going through struggles like this. And yes, there may be times when you have to do that or you choose to do that, but I don't think it should just be assumed that you have to do that. And if you can't or don't do that, you are, gravely offending God, right? In that it doesn't matter at all what the consequences of that suffering are to your marriage and your family. And also it doesn't matter what the benefits might be to the marriage to do some other alternative, perfectly natural things, right? Mm-hmm. That is the problem I have with that whole line of thought.
Abstinence for like a winter or a season seems fine, but once that winter slides into an ice age, like your marriage is in trouble.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know what else to say.
And the other thing I'll say is this. Let's talk about, let's say you have a true, because a lot of this suffering, this mandatory suffering, is self-imposed to the extent that we are taking away from ourselves the opportunity to do it safely through contraception or other acts or whatever. So there's a difference between that situation and a true medical situation where, let's say, the man is paralyzed and literally can't perform, right? That's one thing, and that would be suffering, right? Mm-hmm. And those things can and do happen. That is a different situation than one who, well, we have other options available to us, in theory at least, but we have been told you can't do these other things. That is a different type of suffering. To me, that is a self-chosen suffering, and maybe that is what you're supposed to do, but I would definitely treat those situations differently. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go on here.
Not necessarily going to tell you which one,
but
no, I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
But I'm in a season of long-term abstinence, and we have literally no idea when it will end. And it sucks, and we're suffering. But also, this is the best thing for our marriage right now. It is the best thing for our marriage right now, and the reason that I know that is because God is allowing us to go through it right now.
Okay.
She might not want to peel back the shower curtain when he's in there.
Yeah, I'm just curious if he feels it. I mean, if it's suffering for her, it's
1,000 times more for him.
Yeah, and I'd be curious how much of this is factoring in his experience and how much he bothers to tell her.
Oh, yeah. She thinks it's great. He's like,
yeah. Again, I mean, hats off to that guy if he's carrying this with grace and not any extra activities, behind the shower curtain or whatever. But so
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so here we go. So here we go.
And no, your marriage does not need sexual pleasure separated from the full sexual act. It never does, because that is not the way that it was designed. It is against natural law. No, this isn't just going against some old celibate, bishop or priest who stated something thousands of years ago. No.
That right there is why her husband
like
loves it.
Seeking out sexual pleasure outside of the full sexual act is against the natural law, the natural design of our bodies, of sex, of what sex is meant to be, what sex should be.
The natural design of our bodies, like, how is it not natural to touch each other? Like, I don't understand what she's getting at there. Like, that's a reach.
Yeah, that is the problem I see with this natural law thing, which is supposed to be achievable by reason. It's not supposed to be something that requires some, divine revelation. Like, it's supposed to be anyone with reason. And I'm just like, you can say it, you can shout it, you can repeat it as many times as you want. I don't think it's that obvious. In fact, I would say it's obviously not the case. That based strictly on looking at our bodies and our design, that humans are only supposed to engage in sexual intimacy if it leads to the full sexual act and ends that way.
I think we would have had T-Rex arms or something. Just can't reach.
Get it out of reach. Yeah, exactly. So again, this is where I'm like, I'm looking at him. Okay, I see the fact that there are many ways that you can accomplish this thing, especially when life throws you curveballs and one of you has a physical impairment. So to me, it seems like at least reason to ask if this isn't actually how God designed it to be. God knew there would be situations and seasons in life when you can't come together, and it would be physically dangerous or life-threatening to do so. And by the way, I didn't give you T-Rex arms.
Full reach.
I gave you, I don't want to do this without being too vulgar. I gave you so many ways to use the body parts that God gave you, and different places to put those body parts in a way that is enjoyable and pleasurable. And that's the thing.
You got to get you through.
Yeah. And that is still a sacrifice,
yep,
I think.
Definitely.
If you ask people that do that, I think they're going to say that's still a sacrifice. And there is still a loss that goes with the fact that we can't come together in the full act. But this makes that suffering manageable and in some ways more fruitful, because you can do other things. That's the way I would see it. Part. Exactly. But here's the other thing. She's, how they say, she's like, well, you shouldn't, what does she say? Doing something like that, seeking out sexual pleasure outside of the sexual act, is against the natural law. You know how they always focus just on the sexual pleasure? When you do these things, oh, you're only doing that for the pleasure. Well, maybe that's part of it, but you're also, there is the bonding. They don't talk about that.
The only way a man feels connected is through the marital act,
right.
Really. I mean,
right. There's
I can't speak from the female perspective, really. I don't know. But
there's so many other
I know for the guy. For me, it's really important.
It's kind of like what the old guy was talking about on there. It's like, it's not just about the momentary pleasure, but it's about the relief that provides it, the rekindling of that relationship, the ongoing benefits that you get biologically and relationally. That, like, why not at least address that? Why not be honest enough and say, well, yeah, there are lots of, because they just want to treat this as this is just some gratuitous search for pleasure, like going to eat a carrot cake or something like that. No, this is sustenance. This is something. And obviously couples, they look at this as a viable option when they can't do the full thing. And I just don't think these responses, I don't know if they're purposely ignoring those things or just there's not even on the radar, but I would at least like enough honesty to explain why, when you see the benefits that can come from it, the extreme harms that come from, like, total abstinence, how do we know that isn't actually God's design to give people options and ways to do things outside of the marital act? I would like someone to, if you're going to talk about natural law, let's talk about natural law. Let's talk about the design of our bodies, because I see a genius there that they don't see.
The conquistador would be reaching, for the for the whatever, trying to get out of the conversation.
That's right. Yeah,
the fire alarm
Yep.
or whatever.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
All right.
Let me see. There was a couple other things.
I wonder. I don't know. She doesn't say anything more than about her husband or anything as far as how he's dealing with this.
No, but she did say, and again, I mean, this isn't her thing. She has gone through. She has her own coaching, and she said she burst down into tears with her coach when she was talking about this. So I'm sure it is hard for her.
Sure.
But I'm just trying to figure out, because she's, if you watch, listen to the whole episode, she's definitely, this is raw for her, and she's definitely lecturing the other Axe people. Now, did someone suggest that to her? Did her husband ask for that? I don't know, and I'm not, but she is. Or is she trying to convince herself that that is not available? Like, what is... Why is she so passionate about, I don't know. I'd like to know why she just feels so strongly about that. When So, one of the things that she talked about, and then we'll kind of wrap this up, and I'm trying to scroll ahead here. Let's see here. It goes to, let's see, where do I go? 10 minutes. All right. Okay, here we go.
And I don't want you to take this and just be like, oh, Ellen's saying that it's easy. This is just a great time to grow in intimacy. This is like you're dating again. No, but also yes. It is like you're dating again. Because sex is off the table. But also it's not like you're dating again because you're married. There are very different things. You're still sleeping in the same bed. You're still living in the same house. You're still parenting the same kids. You're still, I don't know, everything else that married couples do, right? You are on a different level of intimacy with your spouse than you ever would be with someone you were dating. Sex being off the table does not mean that your marriage should suffer.
I'm not sure what she meant by that whole line of thought, because she's right. Marriage is not like dating. You are a one flesh union now. You are sharing a bed. You are raising children together. And
we know how the marital debt crowd feels about this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. Well, one of the things that came up, and I may not get to it, but she was like, well, and she was saying, well, abstinence is still a choice. Let's say it would be high risk pregnancy and the woman could die. Like, you could just go ahead and do that. That's your choice to make. I don't see her saying that's contrary to natural law to risk your life, or that it would even be immoral for that, and I think the marital debt people will be like, yeah, I'm within my rights to invoke the marital debt, even if getting my wife pregnant might kill her. They don't seem to have any moral qualms about that.
They just say it's biblical, and this is how it is.
But, oh, God, the poor old guy gets, does something with his wife of 60 years.
Or they couldn't even get pregnant to begin with.
Yeah, explain that to me. Like, to me, there is this huge, weird disconnect between what they will say is okay and what they'll say is not okay. But to get back to her point, though, about the dating, yeah, to me, that is why you can't say because you have to abstain before marriage, it's fine to abstain after marriage. Because you are not the same situation. She talks about sex as being a fruit of a good marriage, and I don't. Well, I think it can be, but I don't. She's saying if your marriage deteriorates without sex, that means your marriage is bad. I
don't know about that.
No, I think marriage. I think sex. There's a reason why that's one of the first things you do on the honeymoon. Like, you don't wait until you have a great marriage.
If your marriage deteriorates because of a lack of communication, you're not having a real good marriage.
Correct. Right. So I just think it's a basic building block. It's a basic food source, if you will, to the marriage.
Absolutely.
And so I don't like that idea of treating it as, well, your marriage shouldn't suffer. You should be, yes. And I agree. If you physically can't have sex or whatever, your marriage shouldn't die. I agree. But again, there's a difference between abstinence that truly is forced upon you by circumstances outside your control and abstinence that's forced upon you because of these beliefs that we have or someone has, that it doesn't have to be this way.
Yep.
Assuming it was morally okay to do it. And so that I think, and I think far more people find themselves in that latter situation where this abstinence is quote unquote self-imposed, as opposed to some, even with high risk pregnancies, right? There is contraception or whatever or other acts would prevent that, would allow you to be together without, really running that risk. And so, so that is a self-imposed suffering there that I just can't help but ask, why is that actually what God wants us? Or is he, again, face palming and like, people, this is you're missing the whole point here. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I wish her and her husband the best, and
and I feel very bad for her because she definitely it sounds like this is a painful time for them, as it would be. But I think I would like to see just a little more empathy or compassion for the couples that are like entertaining other options to them. And God bless those that for principles or whatever choose not to do those things. I mean, great, go for it. But to just expect out of everyone, regardless of the cost, regardless of the effect of the relationship, regardless of the benefit to these other things, I just think marriage and family and the effects of that are too big to just
just deal with it.
Yep.
That's where the Orthodox aspect of it, where they discuss it with their priest and kind of work it out, I think it's an interesting option.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll link to those below. There were some other nuggets in there, but those are the kind of the highlights. I think those are the big ones that I wanted to talk about. But it just keeps coming up. Like this is the thing over and over and over again that Catholic couples face. Like, okay. And most of them are like, okay, I understand I can't use contraception. Most of these couples are not asking for contraception. They're just asking someone explain why we can't do other things to minimize the pain of this.
And rekindle our marriage.
Yes. I just don't think the Catholic answers.
The old man with the cane kind of reinvigorated me because, if there's so much suffering that goes on because of that, and people just deal with it their own way. I don't know.
I hope for her sake and the Catholic Answers people's sake that they are right about this, because my God, they are causing so much suffering by people trying to follow this. And oftentimes I would say not both spouses are successful following this.
That's right.
There's other things happening.
And then that's putting a divide in the marriage.
Yeah. So
which could be prevented easily.
Right. But because these are the responses that you get, people just keep their mouths shut.
It's difficult to be the old man in the crowd.
Exactly. God bless that man for getting
Yeah,
up there.
I mean, he has some stones.
This is not anonymous. He's saying there was people around and everything.
Yep.
And I just think there is so many people that are affected by this that quietly suffer. And if they go, and I know we hear this all the time for people coming to our Discord community, like, I'm in this situation, I got out, I talked to my trad friends or whoever, and I was given the same thing. Suck it up and deal with it. And they just appreciate there's a space for people to talk about these in honest, real terms. And that's all we want to try to do here is to make it known that this is not just a rare situation. This is a very common norm. Yeah, this is the norm, and I think we should just be absolutely certain that what we're telling people to do is correct, because it is causing enormous suffering that would be avoidable if there was other options available. So, okay.
Yep.
Whew.
All right. Well,
I got to get one of those Matador suits then before our next.
You should, man.
episode.
it'd look great on you.
Yeah. You'd only be able to see it from, Europe. So I won't have to wear pants, just the top.
You can wear the pants.
Okay. For Jonah's sake.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments. I'm sure there will be comments on this. And if you are in this situation and you would like to, let's say, join our Discord community, the best way to do is just to send us an email, unchartedcatholicman@gmail.com. I try to check that regularly. Sometimes I miss it because we get so much spam. So if you email me and I haven't responded in a few days, send me another one. I'm not ignoring you, but we would love to have you in our Discord community. We've had a lot of women recently join that are in this situation. I love having that perspective. So, reach out to us. You're not alone. Join our community. So
Go to confession.
Go to confession, pray, and love your spouse.
Yep, that's right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you, Jonah.
You bet.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.